Hi, my name is Rob Wray from MP3 Car. We're here at AFK Fest 2009, and Mitch Solomon brought down his lab car, which is normally beautiful, but in this particular instance, he's taken it apart to show us the guts of how he comes up with ideas and some of the stuff he's done. So we've got, tell us what this, it's an old Sony?
This is old Sony XES, they called it, XES P1, C1, T1, vintage 1991. Was invented in the heyday of CDs. It's a all-digital system. The audio is done over fiber optic. The only time it becomes analog is when it actually heads to the amplifiers. It uses real high-quality filters that are greater than 70 dB per octave, so you don't see too much of that even in today's car stereo. And basically, since it was built on CD technology, and I don't use CDs anymore thanks to Apple, we're all iPod generation here. I wanted to get an iPod on it, or I was going to buy a whole new stereo or car computer. So what I ended up doing is I ended up setting this system up in my house and hooking up to my computer and making an interface, and I basically reverse engineered Sony's proprietary protocol on their communications, and then built a little box that emulates a CD changer, but it actually sends iPod commands out.
So you reverse engineered the original CD protocol and hacked it to make it do what you want.
And I basically made this little box, and it hooks up to my iPod, and as far as the Sony product thinks, it's just a regular 10-disc CD changer. But when I do like track up, it tells the iPod to go to the next track. When I do CD up, it tells the iPod to go to the next album. That actually came after my HD radio interface, which led to the HD radio cable. I made the cable first, that a lot of people know of, so that I could reverse engineer the HD radio protocol, because the whole idea was to get HD radio into my car. And I didn't think anybody else would want HD radio. Boy, was I wrong. Clearly the car PC community wants the HD radio. So that's how that evolved.
Well, tell us about this board here. This looks like an interesting little piece.
This was the very first one I made. Even has a little rework on it. I don't remember what that's for. This is basically Sony Unilink to XM radio and to an old product made by Denshin. It was a hard drive based MP3 player, which I still have, but the iPod kind of superseded that. And it also does optical switching. Since it's an all optical system, if I want to send the XM radio signal, I had to do that optically. So I modified the XM radio, sent out an optical signal, and that went in here. Then this was the Denshin MP3 player, the hard drive, which already had optical out, and then this actually goes into my system. And this basically was a emulator of a Sony CD changer. And their product thought that a CD changer was hooked up, when in fact it wasn't. It was my own stuff. So this was very first, and I don't have XM anymore, but I still use the Denshin MP3 player, so when I put this all back together, it'll go back in. And the nice thing about it, everything's fiber optic, so no noise issues, and it all tucks into a little hole in the side, and the little panel goes back on, and the only thing you see is the subwoofer.
So how much time did you spend on this?
I gotta say, the iPod is over 100 hours.
Wow, okay.
You know, getting the kinks out of it.
Right.
Same thing with the HD radio for this. It was at least 100 hours. I would hit like track up, and it would go up like 12 stations.
Right.
Wouldn't stop, and I had to figure out what was going on there. The radio would mystery reset because I wasn't responding to a command properly. So I would say about 100 hours in HD radio, and close to 100 hours in the iPod interface. And it's a no-compromise iPod interface. Inside that box, not only is the changer emulator in there, but I did a DC to DC converter and upped the voltages coming out of the iPod from the 1.1 volt that it gives you up to 5 volts. High voltage going into the unit there. That gives me a little cleaner signal. The cleaner your signal to begin with, the cleaner it's going to go the rest of the system. So it's done there. So that took me quite a while. That's I think revision 2. It only had to go through 2 revisions.
Well, thanks a lot for the tour, and we really appreciate you coming down to the show and bringing all your toys.
All right, thank you.